Hello, hello. My name is Mu Fan, and I have the pleasure of talking to Raj Kapur here. And who he is the founder and CEO of Options Ahead Inc. He's also a wealth mindset expert, and he is really well trained. He is the John Maxwell Leadership Team Executive Program Leader, and he's also a nonprofit expert. He's going to be talking at the Thrive in Business and Prosper in Life Summit from October 16th to 22nd. He is one of those high caliber speakers. He's speaking, not only he's part of John Maxwell leadership team, but there are other leadership members such for Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Warner Brothers, late Larry King, and many, many more. His talk is going to be about Leave Wealth Mindset Legacy, Invest in Your Future on October 22nd at 9 AM PST time. So welcome, Raj.
Thank you, Miu. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes. So I know you've done so much leadership work, yet you really are dedicated to wealth mindset. Is there a reason behind that?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So just to give you a short brief, I worked with the nonprofit organization for 30 plus years in consulting role as a chief financial officer mainly. And one of the reasons that came about was that when I was in one of the organizations, what I noticed was many people were coming asking for major discounts. It's a new organization that I had taken over. And when I looked at their tax returns as a CFO to see if they applied for it, I was seeing that they're making $300,000, $400,000, living in nice places, driving nice cars. And I was like, what's going on here? And this was many years ago. So when I spoke to them, what I realized was that they had a good knack of generating money because they were generating really good money, but they did not know or understand the rest of the money aspects, or they did not have the wealth mindset. See, wealth mindset is a very important aspect, and you could be making millions, but if your relationship with money is not good, then you
Right.
have definitely a problem there. You would be miserable. And so from that started my journey as to create this wealth mindset, because many years ago in early 90s, I was actually, I would say, swindled. And at that time I was making very few dollars in a nonprofit, and I got swindled in the aspect of almost 50,000 plus. I was on the verge of bankruptcy.
Oh,
And at that time I said, even after my MBA, how come I do not know all the aspects of how everything works? And that's when I started studying, when going into the depth of it. That's when I realized that the money mindset, what was missing for me. I went through books, I created my whole program. And from there, all this wealth mindset came in when I started teaching people while I was working. And then when I went full time into it, this was one of the things I started working with, because I'm also working with a lot of coaches. And what I realize is that after getting their certification, they do not know what to do. So there are many aspects, but one of the basis is that they're lacking the wealth mindset expertise. And so that is where I come in many times, along with other aspects which are needed. But I believe wealth mindset sets that foundation for everything else.
yeah. I feel one aspect. I feel like I'm sorry you went through the money challenge, but at the same time, I'm glad that you've been able to come to the side so you can help people who are where you used to be and had almost given up, where you are providing that hope, and not only to hope to just your clients, but people in the John Maxwell world as well. And so from you, all the experience you've had, because you've trained hundreds
Yes.
of trainers for John Maxwell, what do you think is the most common struggle when it comes to money mindset?
The major struggle is that what I call them is the wealth wounds. Wealth wounds are something that once we were growing up,
Mm,
there were these things that were taught to us,
mhm.
and they get ingrained in your subconscious. Because whatever you take from age 1 to age 8 or 9, you believe it to be true. And so in many households and many clients that I worked with, what I found was that they had this in their subconscious, not even being aware of it. And once you go through this wealth wounds, which is sometimes many things come in, even the people are working with money and dealing and helping others, is for themselves, there is this self sabotage
Mhm.
where they go and then they come back. They go and they come back. And this is a very relevant story for many of the coaches and consultants that I worked with. And one of the big problems with this is because of the wealth wounds, they are actually putting them back to where they feel they should be, not
Mhm.
knowingly. And wealth wounds is like many times you might have heard many people saying, oh, money is hard to make. Money doesn't grow on trees. It is not pious to be rich. Relationships are more important. Education, you can keep on going. And so these are the things many times that are running in people's minds, which are running their life without them even knowing it. So once you bring these to the front, start doing what it is, then you start eradicating and diminishing those things that are in there. And it's a constant progress that you need to keep on making. It just doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. And once you have it, then you can be and get a whole blueprint for success. That's what I call in my program that I teach called Guidance to Wealth.
Right.
And the second one is the millionaire path for coaches and consultants. That is not that I'm telling them how to be a millionaire, I'm showing them a path, that there's a path that you can. And all that starts with the wealth mindset. And there are other aspects which we go through them too.
Yeah, I'm glad that you say that it's good to have this improvement and really check back in. So from my own personal experience, when it comes to money wound, my money wound is that money is evil. Rich people are spoiled. That's my money wound. And it was really enlightening when I discovered that, because I was always in the world of perfectionist, make sure it's right, to be safe. I always to help me compensate for that money wound of people are evil, rich people are evil. I have to work really hard to think that I deserve it, I can earn it. That's my world. And to have someone like you, Raj, to point it out, hey, this perfectionist way is my way of saying, I deserve it. I have to work hard to deserve it. And even though I'm in a world where, like, yeah, you have millions and all that stuff, but to get to the next level, the mind is so crazy that the wounds kind of manifest and you don't know you're in that wound world, and you having a coach like that to point it out, because it evolves over time, and
Correct.
have you say, hey, Mew, uh it's showing up, and you're like, oh, it is, but
Yeah.
you can't do that by yourself.
No, that's why you need a coach.
Yeah.
That's why you need somebody who can guide you through it, who has been through it. And what I have done is a couple of other things which I'll explain. One is I use the DISC personality assessment, which tells me what sort of personality type you have, which is by John Maxwell's team that they had created this. So you take a DISC test. But what I did on top of it was create another segment for my clients as to how your personality type deals with the money. So if you're a D, I, S, or C, the desk, how would you be dealing with money? And that's very powerful in knowing that also. So there are many things. And for coaches, what you were saying is when you reach different levels.
Mhm.
So what I came up with was this sort of formula. There are all the coaches and consultants fall under three categories. One
Yeah.
is a startup, where most of them are.
Mhm.
Second is the growth level, where they're growing, they have clients, they may be making 50, 60 to maybe 100K. And the third is scalability, that they're scaling to the seven-figure level. So these are the three buckets I would say most of the people will fall in, most of them. But to get to this, what do you need? The first thing, as I say, is you need the wealth mindset.
Yes.
After you have the wealth mindset, you need to have the business acumen, which many people are lacking, how to build your business. And the third is strategies and techniques of understanding how to use social media, how to use advertising, how to get people, how to build your tribe. And so once you have all this in, you will have success. But you need all these things. Now, important part here is if you're at a beginner level and then you need to go to the growth or the scalability level. So the mindset that you have when you're making 50, 60 to 100,000 is a very different wealth mindset when you are at the $1 million level. It's a very
Absolutely.
different, and that is the progression that I take people on.
I absolutely, you know what I like best about your program that you just mentioned is that you assess people's personality, individualism, because I've been in so many coaching programs where like we all do the same thing. I'm like, that's not me. I cannot do that. I cannot DM people or cold message people. It just, ugh. And I don't know, the words, not only the words portray it, but the other person can feel how I feel. So I really, I mean, I know people who done really well in their business, like 7-figure, just cold messaging. It's just not
Sure.
me. I like the fact that you are not only do you help with the personality and find strategies that work from the 3 different levels, beginner, growth, and then the 7-figure level,
Scalability, yeah.
the
Mhm.
scalability level. And so what do you think is, where our time is almost up, but what do you think is the most important thing an entrepreneur should do right now, depending on what stage they're in? You said money mindset. Is that it?
Money, wealth mindset is
What money?
most important from my perspective, because what I would say, for every different aspect, wherever level you are, create a solid foundation.
Mm,
That foundation is something, because many people start building all the stuff without having the foundation, and you will have failures in life. There is no ifs and or buts. When you start something, something will happen and you'll be like, so if you have a solid foundation, you'll bounce back. If
yeah.
you don't have a foundation, you'll crash. And so build that foundation with that wealth mindset. When you know you are in abundance, when you know you have enough, and that is a mindset issue. It is not the actual physical thing, because money itself is energy. And so
Mhm.
if you have that right mindset, it will be very easy for you to bounce back, get into the new thing, and keep on going. And that's what I would say is the utmost thing that everybody should work on.
And one of the things about money mindset, it's like what do you call it? It builds on each other, like compound interest. It's like
Exactly, it is.
it
Absolutely.
is.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so how long
It
have you been,
compounds, correct.
yeah, how long have you been coaching?
See, in my job, I was coaching since uh, 2012, 13. 14, I started much into it. 19, I went full time into it.
Okay,
So coaching has been going on for 8 to 10 plus years on a consistent full time basis.
so Raj has been doing this for 10 years. He's not a newbie, and he's been certified by not just John Maxwell, but other high level leader, what do you call it, celebrities as well. And so Raj is going to be speaking on October 22nd at 9 a.m. PST time, which is 12 p.m. EST time. And he's going to be talking about leave wealth mindset legacy, invest in your future. And the only thing about investing in your future, you're also investing in your children's future and your
Correct.
community as well. So any last words, Raj?
I would say go for it, because
Go.
most of the people just start to think and then they start to make plans. And what they miss is the action. You need to act on it to do it
Mhm.
exactly. That's the most important thing. So if you're missing that thing in action, get on it. Do it now. That's important.
Yeah, awesome. And it might be easier than you think. Actually.
If you get into it, it becomes easier, because
Yeah.
then this law of attraction, you start attracting the right people. I was just, this is today, just like an hour ago, I was thinking of somebody who has, I had worked with them for like 7, 8 years ago.
Oh,
And all of a sudden on uh, the media, they were like, Raj, it's been a long time. Shouldn't we connect and catch up? And he's the CEO of a very large company. And I was like,
mhm.
wow, I was thinking of you this morning. This was just today.
You know what? I have good news. Our summit is picked up by a journal, just picked up. So we are, I think Digital Journal has picked us up. Your name is on it. as one
Okay.
of the leadership and, inspired speaker in the summit. So really come and join us among a lot of heavy hitters. And yeah, well, thank you so much for your time, Raj.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you. Yeah,
All
thank you.
right, thank you. Bye.